Hello everyone, Rabbi Abe here. Today we're going to talk about Jewish mystical secrets on how to maintain your attitude for success. Now we all know that maintaining a positive attitude and a positive outlook for any type of success, business or otherwise, is extremely important. In fact, it's probably the most important factor to achieve any form of success and to maintain it. A positive mental attitude is crucial. But along the way, there are so many things that can get to us and affect our attitude. What we're going to speak about today is criticism. Criticism, and how to not allow criticism to affect our attitude. Now, what brought this on is actually dinner last night. My family and I went out to dinner and we ate some kosher Chinese food. And we were lucky enough to get a table. But at the end of the meal, they gave us a fortune cookie. My fortune cookie read the following: all the water in the world can't sink a ship unless it gets inside. Did you get that? All the water in the world can't sink a ship unless it gets inside. So, let's talk about it. Let's say the water is criticism. You are the ship. And you're, floating along happily, and the water is criticism. Now, as long as the criticism stays on the outside of the ship, you're going to be good. In fact, not only you're good, it'll be the thing to help you thrive and push forward and get to any destination that you want. The moment water gets inside your ship, it can sink your ship. When we come across criticism in our life, unfortunately, very often it brings us down. It brings our attitude down. It brings our energy level down. Now, it's very difficult to accomplish anything when our attitude is down. And there's any number of things that can do that to us. There are maybe clients who will criticize us in business, a bad review, let's say, we'll talk about it. Family members, fights, arguments between couples can get us down, and of course couples always want each other to excel forward, hopefully. If they love each other, they want each other to be successful. But, sometimes in the process, we can bring each other down. And then it could be a matter of days, weeks, and for some people maybe even months to get the energy that you need back, to get your attitude back to where it really needs to be. Because again, when you're down or depressed, or you're focused on, the wrong things, when you're focused on what's wrong, and we all have things we need to fix, but when you're focused on what's wrong, you can't accomplish anything. You can't. You can't. You just can't, right? Very difficult to accomplish anything. So, how do we deal with this? How do we deal with this? Well, we have to be like the boat. We have to remember what the fortune cookie says. All the water in the world can't sink a ship unless it gets inside. So what's inside of us? Inside of us is our heart, meaning our emotional state. So if we hear a criticism, let's say right now of any kind, and we allow it inside, meaning what? Meaning we take it personally, as a personal insult, it can destroy us. It will bring us down to whatever degree, even to the degree that some people it can even destroy. And if it's repeated, and I continuously allow it inside, take it internally, that's not a formula for success, the opposite. That's a formula for failure. So how do we deal with it? Well, simply put, don't let it inside. And what does that really mean? Don't let it inside. It's all a matter of how we as individuals perceive the criticism. In other words, I use a trick. Sometimes I see myself in a theater watching the movie and watching myself with my interaction with someone else or with a situation on the movie screen. In that way, it helps me to be objective rather than, being the object. I become the observer, and I can actually advise myself on how to deal with it. Because when you're personally involved in a situation, it's very difficult to be objective. So in order to know what to do or how to deal with it, very often you need to take yourself out of the movie, out of your own movie of life, and watch it on the screen as though it's someone else. Then advise them what you think would be best for them. You should try it. It works wonders. So the object here is simply not to take it personally. Another way to do that is to embrace it, not in a personal way, to embrace it as a message, as a cosmic message. Now, the universe doesn't get personal. People get personal. So this takes a little bit of practice, I would say, to separate the message from the messenger. Again, don't kill the messenger. Take the message and separate it from the messenger. Again, not always easy to do, but that's what you need to do. Find the message. Find what it is that you need to hear. What can you learn? You can only do that if you initially embrace it. Embracing it doesn't mean taking it in. Embrace the situation first, and then do the separation. Do the surgery. Separate the message from the messenger. You'll have to think about, what's the message for me here? What do I need to learn? There's always going to be some form of truth in the message, especially after you separate anger maybe of another person or their stuff. Because, if there's a nasty interaction, it's always going to be that individual has stuff, we have our stuff, they have their stuff, and our stuff is going to collide. So it's going to be very difficult to hear each other in that moment. So it's always a good time for one person to shut up. And I guess that's always going to be the person who's listening and not talking. Because when someone's talking and giving it to you, you must be quiet. You must be quiet. It doesn't mean you agree. Just be quiet. Because you won't be able to hear the message for you, by the way. When you really are able to hear the message, that person will automatically, our souls speak. That's for another video. But we do speak to each other beyond the spoken word. And when you've really received the message, they will already begin to tone down, the rhetoric, if you will, because you're really hearing. They'll feel you're hearing what they have to say to you. Okay? If you're really successful in hearing the message, that's an amazing thing. But very often you're going to have to wait and listen later, and because again, it's not always easy, but absolutely necessary. Why? Because you don't want your ship to go down. You don't want your ship to sink. That's the reason. So, again, number one, tool, be objective, listen. There's a message always. Listen. Look at yourself on a movie screen, if you can do that, if that works for you, and listen to what this person is trying to tell this person. Of course, the other person is you, right? The listener. the one who's getting the message, the criticism. Or, again, try your best to separate the message from the messenger. Now it's going to be more powerful and therefore more difficult, okay? Wherever criticism is coming from, again, from a loved one, from a business associate, a partner, a bad review on Google, okay? Because if you react to it and take it personally, you're only going to make it worse. You'll end up getting more bad reviews, right? If you don't stop and think about it, what's the message? How do I handle it? Do I need to answer? How should I answer? If you answer in an angry way, it's a big no-no. Other people are going to see that review, and somehow they're going to understand, well, the reviewer was correct. But if you're non-reactive to it and you go through the process, you really listen, what's the message here for me? You're going to come up with a reply that's going to not only put the messenger in place if they need that, and also set it straight. Maybe it needs an apology, maybe it needs whatever it needs, right? Maybe you were wrong. So again, usually both parties always have something to learn, but it's not my job. It's not my job to teach the other person what they need to learn. I need to first be busy with what I need to learn. I can't teach someone else something that I have not really accomplished myself. All right? That's kind of the rule. If I don't have that energy, I can't share it with someone, can I? In some level. It doesn't need to be in the same thing, right? If I never succeeded at something, I can't show someone else how to succeed because I don't know how to do it, right? If I've been successful, because success principles operate the same way, doesn't matter if you're a baker, a plumber, a builder, how to succeed requires specific principles. So it's as simple as that. Again, criticism is there to help us learn, and when we learn, we'll be more motivated and have more energy and more positivity to go further, That's what it's meant for. In energetic terms, mystical terms, every criticism is an energy. So again, there's no such thing as negative energy. We've spoken about that. Negative and energy is an oxymoron. Energy is always force. Negative is a lack of force or a concealment of that force. Like a negative person. If they're complaining, they are creating a vacuum and removing energy. So it's not negative energy. Yes, again, I know we speak that way, but really negative energy is the removal of energy. So energy is always positive. So when someone comes along with criticism, we have to realize that this is an energy. It's a force. Now, how we will allow that force to affect us, that's up to us. Do we take it to our heart, or do we take it to our mind and utilize it? Use it. It's energy. Mercy is an energy, but judgment is also an energy. And according to the sages, we need judgment too. Judgment and mercy must go together. Judgment alone, no good. Mercy alone, no good. Creates devastation because water is mercy. Too much water is a flood. Judgment is fire. Too much fire, of course, can burn everything in sight. But without fire in the right way, we must have heat. We must be able to cook. We must, have that as well. So we need each one together to be in a balanced state. Judgment and mercy. So the criticism comes in a form of judgment, but we, with our consciousness, have the ability to remove the thorn and just enjoy the benefit of what it came to give me. But that's the way we need to think. What did it come to give me? I embrace it as a message, but don't take it to heart as a criticism to bring you down. Understand it's a message that came to help you because you need to hear certain things over there. That doesn't mean, it's the Bible from Moses. Everything that person said, they have their agendas too. They're angry or they're fearful or they're whatever they are too. That doesn't mean don't listen at all because it's their thing. No. Listen. But learn again how to separate the message from the messenger, or watch the movie on the screen as an objective observer and advise yourself what was there for you to listen to from that person in the movie. Take yourself out of the picture to become an objective observer. When we're not objective, we can't do anything. We're biased. So regain your objectivity and separate the message from the messenger. And in this way, whatever we considered criticism will push us forward and help us to learn what we need to learn to get us to our next stage of whatever success we're dealing with. Be blessed, guys. All the best, and I'll see you very soon on the next video. All the best.